Hi everyone! What do you get when you put together some Doodlebug paper, some Lawn Fawn stamps, some Nuvo drops, and a sheet load of cards? Well, stick around and we'll find out. Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and this is the June 2022 sheet load of cards. The sheet load of cards is the brainchild of Alicia from the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel, and she shows you how to, using a sketch and supply list and cutting guide, make a batch of cards. And that's what I did today. I'm going to take you through and show you what I used and what I made with this Great Outdoors paper pad from Doodlebug. I also have a special announcement, so make sure you stay to the end. All right, so what we're doing is I'm grabbing the stamp set. This is a Lawn Fawn stamp set. I think it came out last year, called S'more the Merrier. And obviously you can tell what the theme of that's going to be. So I go ahead and I'm trying to figure out what the verbiage is I want on the card. I obviously want it to be a camping theme. And so I decide that everything is s'more fun with you. So it takes me a little bit to line it up. I use the grid on that stamp platform to make sure it's lined up. And I stamp about 6 of the everything is s'more fun with you. And then I try a variation and I just put everything is more fun with. And my intent is to put the U would be a die cut. So I have to go through my die cut stash to figure out which U I'm going to use. I don't have that many. You would think I have lots of U's, but I don't. But I do go into my scrap stash and find, I'm cleaning the platform now. I want to make sure all those letters are clean. I do find a couple of oranges and a yellow, and I'm using my die cut machine. That love you, there is the U in the love you. I end up not using it, but I figure, you know what, I'm going to cut out the other U. Might as well cut it out and get the option of using it. That magic mat on my stamping platform is fabulous. If you don't have one of those, I recommend getting it. It really helps with the die cut. And you can see it's pretty well used, but it still cuts my dies nice and crisp and clean. All right, so I'm going through and cutting out 6 U's. I feel like I need to have a sheep in this whole thing. All right, I just picked up this Doodlebug paper pad. It is the Great Outdoors. I've used it in another video. I made a really cool project with a map and crayons for kids if they're going on a trip. I'll link it above. But anyhow, I pick out 3 of the papers from the Great Outdoors collection kit, and then I got sort of like their solids and stripes kind of thing. So I put all 3 of those together, and I am cutting I'm cutting all 3 together based on the measurements. I think I'm working on 4 inches right now, and then I will keep them together and cut whatever the next measurement is. You do know that you can get this cutting guide for free by going to Call Me Crafty Al's YouTube site, and in the description it tells you what you need to do to get this cutting guide and diagram and sketch and supply list. Really easy schmeezy. I advise you to do it and subscribe to her and to me while you're at it. So anyhow, fabulous paper collection. This came from scrapbook.com. It's been out for a little bit, but it's still fairly new. All right, now I am going to cut the cardstock, and you don't have to use white, but in this case I am using white. After I put it all together, I thought, you know, it would be fabulous if I use colors. I'm sure some of the other people on the collab team used some colorful things. I think I will be doing a couple different versions of this card because it's a great card sketch. This is really a fun card sketch. And I want to make some Father's Day cards and masculine cards, and I have some paper set aside for that. So I'll probably, excuse me, play around with using different cardstock colors. And now I am scoring. I do try to do assembly line when I'm doing the sheet load of cards. It really makes things go fast. I double check the measurements several times to make sure I'm following along. Sometimes I'll make just one card just to see how it looks, but in this case it was pretty easy, as most of them are. And now I am folding according to, again, the directions. And then it's real important to burnish on the fold line. So I take my bone folder and make sure that there's a good fold. I am stamping my website and Etsy site on the back of these cards, since a lot of times I hand them out, I give them away, or when I box up an Etsy order I might put in some cards. So I always put that in the back. If you're interested, go check out my Etsy site. It's going to be listed in the description box below. So what I do when I have a couple of different sets of pattern paper is, the first one is whatever the order is. The second one, I take the top one and put it on the bottom. The third one, I'll take the top two and put it on the bottom. And that way when I'm drawing from the stack of cards, it always is in the order, or the stack of the cardstock, it's always in different order. I have tried, again, assembly line, I have put some of the, some ATG. Sometimes I use glue, sometimes I use ATG. In this case, I'm just ATG crazy. And just putting the pattern paper on the white cardstock. You know, if you are doing, for instance, Christmas cards, sheet load of cards is fabulous. It's just like if you're making a recipe for muffins and you want more muffins, you double the recipe. Well, the same with this. Just double the amount of pieces you have, or triple or quadruple, and you can get a lot of cards done. All right, this is a fun fold card. So I did one first just to see how it's going to work out, and then I realized exactly where I need to put that second fun fold piece. So again, assembly line, I'm putting it all together. And I get them all done. And now I'm looking at my sentiment and realize it's going to get lost just because it's white. So I grab some blue scrap paper from my stash. When I'm cutting the fishtails, what I like to do is just put a little bit of ATG on the sentiment and put that on the fishtail, and then cut the fishtail all together, and then I pull it apart because I just put a dab of ATG and then glue it down. So watch how I do it. I take the sentiment and put it all the way to the left hand side of my blue paper. You saw that there was a little dab of ATG on there. And then I cut right in the center and then cut on a diagonal from both sides. And that's how I make my fishtail. So I will get them all done. Cut in the center and then cut from the sides. When you cut in from the center, you know, go up half an inch or 3/8 of an inch or whatever you're doing. That way you know how deep to go. And then I'm using glue to put this together. I peel it off of my blue cardstock and then just move it down a little bit to the right, and my fishtails will match up because they're cut at the same time. So that is my secret for cutting fishtails. And then I cut off, I think the measurement calls for 3 1/4, so I cut it off about that. And then I go ahead and glue the sentiments down on the fronts of the card. And I'm liking it. I love this blue. It goes really nice with the paper. I'll go ahead and burnish that down and make sure it's really on tight. You see in that top right corner that blue thing with the yellow? That is my glue holder. Not that I'm using it now, but the pin, it's attached to a magnet in the front of it, And then that way it is always upside down so it comes out. I'm adding the U onto the card, so I have different orange U's. But that way it's a place to keep my pin that goes in the top of the glue and I don't lose it, only when I remember to put it on. I decided the inside of the card needed something else. So I took this couple of animals and a fire and a moon and put it on the inside of the cards. So I decided as I'm making these and having fun with it, there's a couple of kids that I know that are going to join us camping, and I decided I'm going to send 3 of these cards to those kids, and I'm going to leave them just black and white so they can color them. So I will send 3 of these cards to the kids, and I ended up just putting the stamp on all 6 of the cards I made just to add a little something to the inside. I'm not going to put anything on the other side at this point. I might change my mind as I go, but that's what I do here. So in that Lawn Fawn stamp set, there is a s'more. So I stamp it, I don't know, 12, 15 times, just in case I mess up on it. And then I'm coloring it. I'm trying to zoom in so you can see. I mean, it's just a bunch of brown tones, so it's nothing really exciting. I do sort of a graham cracker color on the top and bottom, and then the chocolate I do 2 browns, a darker one on the very bottom, and then I put just a little smidgen of light gray on that marshmallow. So I'm going to color these and then add a little pizzazz to it. Wait till you see what I do. So I color them all and then I cut them out, which is tedious but necessary because I don't have a die, and even if I did have a die, I'd probably mess it up. I try to get as close to the image as possible, but at the end, I don't know if I show it, but I do take a black alcohol marker and just go, just fill in any little white pieces that are still showing. Then what I do, you'll see this in a second, is I take my ATG gun and put it on a piece of scrap chipboard, I think from the back of a paper pad, and then I take some of that the light masking tape. This was from scrapbook.com. I forget what they call it, but I'll put it in the description box. And I put my little s'mores down on that. And the reason I do it is that way it holds it tight, they don't blow away, and they don't move. Look at all these little s'mores. I can't believe I cut them all. I mean, most of it was a straight cut, not a big deal. So here's that mint tape. It's upside down, so the sticky part is up. And then I put my little, this is where I'm coloring the black, and I'm sorry that it's out of focus or off the camera. There, maybe you can see it. I'm just going over the edges of it and making sure it's all colored in so you don't see the white. That's basically all I'm doing. And after I finish all, I guess I did 12 because I wanted to have 6 for each card. I may have had a couple extras in case it messes up. So what I do is I put on some Nouveau Crystal Glaze drops. I can't show this to you because once I opened it up, it all spilled out. So I just put a drop on each one. I'm taking my little pokey tool and spreading it out just to make sure each one gets a nice coat of the crystal glaze. And this will add a lot of shine to it, and this will be an accent piece on my card. And so now I'm going to go through each card and take one of the stickers from the icon sticker sheet, and I'm choosing the largest animals. Now, since there's so many of the icons on this one sheet, I'm just putting a small animal in the corner. So here we have our set of cards, and I'm also going to add a dot of glue and add one of the little s'mores to in the arms of all these little animals if I am able to. There's some that I really can't put them in their arms, and the butterfly doesn't have arms big enough to hold a s'more, poor butterfly. All right, now we're going to do a final walkthrough of all of the cards. So here's our Yeti holding his s'more. The U in orange sort of replicates the orange and some of the icons around there. Now we'll open it up and you'll see I added some more stamps to this side just to balance out that side. I just didn't like how it was. And I also added a blue mat and a white mat just to call attention to the center. Without that, it was a little lost. And then I put in another shiny s'more in the center there just to bring attention to the s'more that's on the outside, just so it all melds together. So there is our Yeti. Here's our cute little bear. So he's holding his s'more in his lap. And then again, I've got my black and white stamps there. You don't always have to color in the stamps. You can leave them black and white, and if the kids that get it color it in, fine. If they don't, that's okay. Again, here's our little bunny, and he's got the s'more in front of him a little bit just to pull everything together. And I've used some green paper as a mat there. I should have showed you what it looked like without that double mat, but trust me, in my mind it looks a lot better. Now if I had used a colored cardstock, it probably would have been enough. So here we are, our little beaver with his s'more, and the s'more's over here. And I think the kids are going to like those s'mores. So the butterfly is pulled down a little bit. There is not a s'more with this one, but there is one inside. So you open it up and there's sort of a surprise because it's the Nouveau dropped crystal glaze, and just sort of pops. Oops, this way. And I have an owl, the orange and the orange, and here there was the yellow and the yellow. And the s'more inside with the green. And then of course on the back is where I stamped it. And there I've got all the cards together. It really makes such a cute set. This would make a great box set if you wanted to do something like that. And I wanted to tell you all that this is my last sheet load of cards as far as with the collab team. It certainly isn't the last sheet load of cards I will ever make. I probably will join along, but just do them as time allows. And it's been a lot of fun. But regardless if I'm on the collab team with SheetLoad of cards or not, I invite you to join along and make some of these cards. This one was a fabulous, fabulous sketch. If you'd like to purchase the items, I put link in the description box below. I do make a slight amount of affiliate money with it, which really just helps me pay for supplies so I can continue to make these videos. And that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming along. Have a fabulous day.